Welcome to Far From Eden. This is Thursday's matinee video. I'm trying really hard to do 2 videos on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I know that's ambitious for me, but when I can, I will. And so we're going to call this the matinee. And for this one, we're going to react to a Man Reacts video. You guys know I love his stuff. I love what he puts together. It's such a great opportunity for me to explain what these women are saying, what they really want, etc., or just for me to be disgusted by them, which is usually the case, or shocked, downright shocked. So without further ado, let's get into it and see what he has to show us today. This is actually, I think, from a few days ago, but I haven't seen it yet. He does a good job putting out videos. He cranks them out. All right, there we go. And that is Brett Cooper. Remember, you guys, I couldn't remember her name on another one because MS Brain was like, names, they're not important. All right, so dating just doesn't make sense anymore. That's what he is saying this video is. So, you know what? He's right. I'm not sure dating ever made sense. I think dating just teaches people to break up. Imagine if it was just one person. Imagine if it was one person, only one person that you've ever kissed or had any kind of relationship like that with. Imagine that. I know we're from a world where it's like, no, you have to explore and find out what you like. But is that working? Does that help to be able to compare people? I don't think so. I don't think so. But let's see what Man Reacts has to show us.
Dating just doesn't make sense anymore. End of an era.
Instagram or a long-term boyfriend? Pick one. Okay, let's see.
Instagram.
Okay.
What?
Instagram.
Instagram?
She
Okay.
had to think about it.
Instagram? Okay.
Oh, Jadina's getting red pill right now.
Okay. What about you?
Probably Instagram.
Oh, Mr. Trey.
That probably already knew, but Instagram.
What the fuck?
I would say Instagram. I haven't met or found a man yet that can give me what Instagram has given me. So Instagram.
Whoa, I think this is why this show is necessary. Do you see how all these girls are in a relationship with Instagram instead of a real man? They're addicted to attention instead of love.
Actually, yeah. And we wonder why divorce rates are skyrocketing and marriage rates are declining and men are overwhelmingly depressed. It's because of things like this. Somebody replied and said, "Who raised y'all? The internet?" Somebody else said, "It's fine, boys. They're weeding out the girls from the women for us. Girls love attention. Women value love." That's wholesome. It's also very real.
Women receive a lot of attention simply for...
I don't think it's very real. I think it's nice. Women value love. What does that mean? Because generally, it doesn't mean what men mean when they say love. Women receive love. Men give love. Love is sacrificial, right? The Bible commands the man to love the woman, right? And the woman to obey the man. Pretty sure that's right. You guys tell me. You're not going to hear somebody like Brett Cooper say that, though. She's going to go to a certain extent, just like all the Daily Wire folks. And I enjoy a lot of them because, you know, you're not going to agree on everything, but they'll only go a certain distance because women value love. Do they? Show me. Where? Where? They don't raise their own children. Send them off to government schools, you know, while they work. Well, we need 2 incomes. Why? Because you need that house and that location and these cars and these phones and all these toys. No, you don't. You need your family. You need to raise your children. Okay, rant over.
for sharing a few hot photos on Instagram, while regular men receive zero attention and are essentially invisible. There has been a lot of effort put into criticizing the unfair standards that are applied to women, but not as much to men. It's as if men just don't matter to society anymore. When things go tough, I see people justifying illogical standards for men.
Women use their Instagram as like their own little attention economy. If she does not reply to your DMs, then you don't follow her. And if you follow her and she doesn't follow you back, that's a big red flag.
Stop following women on Instagram. Stop feeding the beast. What are you getting out of it? Why? What are you getting out of it? You're just feeding the problem. if men, like I said, I already filmed tonight's premiere. If men would just stop playing these games with these women want Instagram because then they have thousands of men liking and viewing and whatever. Well, yeah, because they want all that attention. They want to feel like they're Kim Kardashian or whoever. But who are those thousands of who is Instagram? It's a bunch of men. What if men were like, no, I don't want to follow you on Instagram. I don't want to look at you. That would change all of this. If she has an Instagram, no. That's a no. I know you're like, well, that's everybody. Yeah, most of them are a problem. I don't have an Instagram. I've never had an Instagram. And the reason being, and I'm not saying I'm so wonderful. What I'm saying is if I'm this way, maybe there are some others. This is what you want to look for. I never got Instagram, and here's why. I had a Facebook, and I would share things about, it was always about my farm and my riders and my horses and this, that, and the other, and networking with the other people in the horse industry across the country that I knew. And it was a lot of ego in that way. Like, look at what we're doing and look how awesome we are. And I don't like that. And now it's all over. I hate that. And yeah, there were profile pictures and it was my face. And it was like, what are you advertising? You know, why do you do a profile picture right after you get your hair done? Because you're looking for that attention. And so I stopped doing that several years ago. Once I realized, and I actually learned it from Pearl, from watching Pearl, I realized, oh my God, I'm advertising myself. Ew. But go back to why I don't have an Instagram. When Instagram came out, I don't remember when that was, but I remember it coming out and I remember thinking, so you just put pictures of yourself? Like that's what it is? And I thought that's very egotistical to just be like, look at me. And even Twitter in the beginning, I was like, so you're just saying what you're doing? Who cares? Like, oh, I'm here now. It's like, who cares? Stop it. Not that important. Why do you? So I didn't join Twitter and I didn't join Instagram. And I just never did join Instagram because of the whole thing. Like, here's a picture of me. Here's another picture of me. Look at me. Look at me. And it's just off-putting. And so when Instagram is such a big deal for a woman, that's a huge red flag. And just giving it up, don't give her that. She could hold that over your head when the woman's like, well, I gave up my Instagram for you. I think it's a red flag altogether. It's a danger, danger, danger.
In addition to that, you do not comment on her photos unless you have piped her or you are within 1 or 2 dates. These girls will like take as much free attention as they can get, bro.
We are deliberately upholding the same chauvinistic norms for males while feigning an interest in this utopian imaginary egalitarian and prosperous future. It appears that there are still these widely accepted and romanticized ideals for what a handsome man should be. In other words, a guy is devoid of emotions, flaws, and blunders. He is doing well financially. He is tall, attractive, and in excellent physical condition. He works with his hands in addition to having a degree. He is not just confident, as some claim, but also socially dominant. You see, it is unhealthy and impractical to have such expectations. But today's women just provide their beauty in exchange for what they desire, which is literally every good quality possible in a man. We have a serious issue when the overwhelming majority of young men are held to unrealistic standards by women. It's challenging to have trust in one's abilities right now.
Social media is out to destroy men. It's no secret that men are visual creatures. And honestly, I see no problem with that. But the algorithms exploit this as a weakness to keep you on their platforms as long as possible. By only filling in your following tab with IG models, you're feeding into the exact system that's making men weak today. My guys, there's nothing wrong with having primal physical attraction to women, but use that primal desire to attract real girls in real life, to become the man that won't accept a girl at face value, and the man that women need to better themselves for. You have the ability to change your own algorithm. So engage with content that will actually serve you. Because at the end of the day, your presence on this earth is to fuel the betterment of society.
I have the impression that a significant portion of the problem is not simply that young men are flawed, but also that most of them soon adopt stereotypes of the ideal, And wherever there is a shortcoming, a weakness in character, or a warning sign, that is it. Women move on. He is no longer even worth their time.
Every man that I've ever been with has treated me like a princess. And when they didn't, I looked at them like, what's happening right now? I don't get it. I know I don't like it. So I'm going to go. You know what I mean? Anything I asked for, any expectation I had, I was just like, this is how it's always happened for me. So why wouldn't it happen now? Unless you're different from everything that I've ever experienced. And if you're different from everything I've ever experienced, then either you're not a good fit, or I'm obviously too good for you, or I just need to hurry up and get to the next guy who's going to give me what I've always been given.
You never see a woman in a long-term committed relationship give this type of advice. Because let's be honest, the women that demand princess treatment are never the ones that reciprocate that same energy. And they leave the second the man makes a mistake.
Women who demand the princess treatment never reciprocate that same energy. Golden words by Emily here. Let's be honest before a young man reaches that stage. Until he is shown to be innocent, there are already biased assumptions about him, such that he may be a predator, an emotional abuser, a weirdo, a creep, clumsy, too soft, too attached, didn't read the signs, a loser, etc.
Yeah. A woman, when she's meeting a man, she's got all that, and she's got to figure out, in her brain, it's messed up. She shouldn't, because men aren't those things. That's what the media and all that has taught us to believe. But they have like, okay, not a predator. Okay, not a creep. Okay, not. But guess what? Just like she can move anywhere on that hot, crazy chart, she can go, oh my God, maybe he is a creep. Again, stop trying to please the woman. If she's hell-bent on, casting you in that light, walk away. You're going to walk away from more women than you walk towards. And you might not ever find a woman to walk towards, because if they're not there, they're not there. But don't settle for somebody that's going to destroy your life. It's not worth it. So look for these red flags. Walk away from them immediately. Don't make excuses for her. Don't be like, well, maybe she doesn't mean, maybe she's in, because you want a woman so bad for whatever reason. It's not worth it. You stand your ground. Hold the line.
Or, like in this clip, he's supposed to treat a girl like a princess no matter how she treats him. Guys who tried dating had a hurdle to climb. For a chance, they had to overcome a lot of preconceived notions. There was a time when marriage vows were taken fairly seriously, but now it's just a step in the process of legally defrauding men out of cash and assets.
Fairly seriously? They were taken extremely seriously. It was in stone. There was a time when people just didn't get divorced. Just wasn't even practical to do so. And thank God, because that helped them make the right decision to stay. Because leaving just leads to more chaos and more pain and everything. It's so much better to heal and forgive and come together. It's so much better for each other, for the children, definitely for the children. And if you're like, well, but we argue all the time. Okay, stop it. Just stop it. What, are you not in control of your behavior? But we fought all the time. Yeah, knock it off. Stop fighting. You don't have to argue, ladies. You can actually let things go. You have that capability. Or are you not strong enough? Whew. And the other thing about this princess thing, treated like a princess. What does that mean? You get whatever you want. He bows down to you. He tells you you're beautiful all the time. You're never wrong. What does being treated like a princess mean? It means that he is a servant. He's not the king of the princess, because then the princess treatment would be a little bit different. Why would you want to be the servant of the princess? It's not the way it works. And guess what? If you were actual royalty, which I don't really believe in, because I don't really believe in any kind of human authority like that, but if you were royalty, guess what those people have? Responsibilities and duties. They actually do. for that title. And if you're not going to do those responsibilities and duties and stuff, you lose your title. So if you want to be treated like a princess, you better educate yourself, lady, about what that means. Anyway, she made me really mad. Getting mad. These women, okay.
A date is either her way of getting a free meal or a job interview where she decides if you're worthy of a one-sided divorce. Looks, status, and money will get you some intimacy, but won't protect you from their sinister plans for you.
So if you didn't know, I'm a sex worker. I do OnlyFans for a living. And I just moved to a new state, so I'm trying to find a place to live. And yesterday, I went to go look at this house, and the guy was like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" And I was like, "Oh, I do social media." And he was like, "That's so cool." And started asking me a bunch of questions about it. Like, "Oh, do you do brand deals?" I was like, "Yeah, I do brand deals." But after a while, I had to be like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I don't like talking about my work." He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Can I ask why?" And I'm like, "Well, it's because I actually do OnlyFans."
If my daughter ever came to me and said that she was doing OnlyFans, I would disown her directly. That's how much I hate these. For $25.99, anyone can dip a peek under there.
Just being a good, hardworking man means nothing to them. You have to check all the boxes before you get the box. And that box isn't special anymore. Her body count is now sky high, and not all those victims were clean. The bottom line is to get out of the West just to experience how women in other cultures treat men. The perspective is amazing. You can be valued and treated well everywhere but here.
Generally, this is the attitude when it comes to guys who earn less than 100K. And it's to do with social media, and it's to do with the male influencers as well, who promote having to have, $100 million just to get by. And it's just not the reality of things. Most men are out there working extremely hard, contributing to society and building things. I'm very lucky in the sense that I actually get to have a YouTube channel where I can earn a lot of money.
Okay,
my
well,
YouTube
then
channel,
what do you do?
if my YouTube channel goes away tomorrow like that, people will watch some other shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. But these guys, if they stop building the structure tomorrow, all of a sudden we've got half-built structures everywhere. All of a sudden you can't flush your toilet. All of a sudden you can't have electricity. And all of a sudden we can't have protection from the police. These are the people who literally build the world around you. And it's just like, I absolutely detest that notion of people laughing at people who work with their hands.
Life is way better when your world doesn't revolve around women. Quit chasing it. Find what makes you actually happy. The typical chasing tale and willingly locking yourself out of fear of being independent is quite pathetic and not masculine at all. Have actual interests in life. This drive to pair up is a cultural weirdness. I'd say this for both.
Drive to pair up is not a cultural weirdness. All due respect, man reacts. It is how we were made because of who made us. And so that drive will never go away. But it is unnatural for the man to reduce himself for the woman. And when she's a princess and you're serving her, you have reduced yourself. That is backwards. There's something, Aleister Crowley, right? Y'all familiar? You guys are probably going to educate me. But the whole idea of everything being backwards, that is a satanic thing, virtue, whatever. This is backwards, where the women have the upper hand and the women are in control of all of this. And the men are desperately chasing the women. There was a time, all of human history, except for 5 minutes ago, where we didn't have industry and we didn't have, houses that you go and purchase that are already made by a company. There was this wide open land, right? And you paired up because as a woman, are you going to go live out on the prairie by yourself? No, you're not. That's just not what happened. The women desperately wanted a husband. Every little girl growing up wanted a husband. And they were taught from young of how to be a good wife. Our last fairy tale was a great example of that. On Sunday, we did Snow White and Rose Red. They were these women, you know, were all raised up to actually go and be good wives, because that was what you did, because family was the most important thing. Career wasn't the thing that everybody chased, because we didn't have industry there to pull, you know, dads away from families to go work in the factory, away from the homestead. Everybody was on the homestead. Everybody was in the house, you know? So it's natural, and it's never going to change, no matter how much the overlords want it to. The overlords want us fighting with each other, not procreating because depopulation, and they want us thinking each other is the enemy. It's not. We're not. They are. And so it's not a weird cultural thing. It is God made.
Genders, but it's understandable for women because they're weak by nature. For dudes to be so needy is pathetic, and ultimately a huge weakness in life, and also in the relationships that you do have. If you don't have any other interests in life, then you are just trying to pair up for security and fear. Be a better person and more complete human, and you will have power over this, and you won't be desperate and needy. I do not advocate for a monk life, as I always keep all options open, but I do not go looking for it. If you are looking for it, you will try to compromise yourself out of desperation, or try to bend the reality of who your mate actually is. True.
I didn't do this on purpose. I did not know this was going to be so closely related to my reaction to Homath Mystery Zone. That's going to be later today at 9 o'clock. I had no idea this was going to be so similar. And maybe it's just because my brain is on that track. But he's saying it. He's like, look, I'm not saying you have to be a monk, but I'm saying don't go compromising yourself for just to get some. Thank you, Man Reacts. There's a reason why I love your channel so much. That is exactly right. I agree with you. I agree with you that men are worth more than that. They need to understand their value and not be afraid to just walk away from every single red flag. You're going to be walking away a lot, but it will make a difference, and it will protect you.
There is no longer any point in having any long-term relationship with a woman. The financial risk of a wife or common law wife is too high, and having children is too risky due to the woman being able to take the child and live off child support. So, if you want a kid, adopt one or use a surrogate mom. It makes perfect sense for men to stop dating in today's world. Women's expectations from men are essentially unattainable, but women only need to be attractive to be successful in the dating world. You're supposed to believe that social justice, equality, and other such nonsense prevail in today's world. That is not true. So let's stop the BS now. Men are tired of being rejected, doing the work, not having respectful women in their lives, being treated like disposable items, and the list goes on. Men are recognizing it is pointless to chase women. Instead, they should chase excellence and forge their own path.
Yes.
Even when they're interested, women want you to do all the work, which is exhausting and probably something you don't want to put up with anymore. Instead, they act uninterested until you leave, at which point they reveal their genuine sentiments. It is best to save your limited energy for pursuing worthwhile objectives. If you're successful, they'll probably show up on their own. Just don't ever waste time trying to attract women. What do you expect will happen, even if a woman agrees after you chase her? Rather than pursuing and expending energy, it would be more effective to just express interest. Cut your losses and keep looking if she doesn't respond in kind. Even if it may seem difficult, the best course of action is to avoid participating in all these psychological tricks and confusing signals.
Oh my gosh, that is exactly the Homath video later today. This is exactly right. He is saying it. I feel so validated because I was saying this in our premiere tonight. I talk about this, like men need to be able to just say no. I'm so glad he's saying this. I hope that men realize that you actually have some power. You have a lot of power because you just don't participate. Stop participating.
The majority of young men do not earn the kind of money that most women dream of. It's hard to live your own life while being on guard against losing someone's transitory interest, who is deliberately seeking any conceivable red flag to give an excuse to ghost you. I believe there is a propensity to downplay how harsh dating is for young men in today's society. As a culture, we have apparently made progress, but there are still standards that apply only to men and not to women. Unrealistic and downright unpleasant expectations. While some modern women might be inclined to place the blame on the patriarchy, the majority of them continue this never-ending cycle of expecting more from the other gender. It wouldn't be so uneven if women assumed equal responsibilities, which will never happen, to be honest. However, the majority of women currently face the difficulty of having too many options, rather than being the ones who need to look for possibilities. And if we talk about online dating, I believe this is the most important reason why online dating is a waste of time for modern men. You see, on every online platform that is built for men and women to showcase themselves and find out suitable matches, there is always a surprisingly high number of men for a very low number of women. For example, if a dating app has 1,000 females on it, it will have 10,000 men on it finding the right match for them. How is this important? It's important because such numbers of economics create a massive demand for women and a massively low demand for men, who are greater in number. So, if a woman posts her profile online, she's bound to instantly receive hundreds of invites and swipes and messages from thirsty men looking for women. And if a man posts his profile online, unless he's really good looking or has an interesting profile, he's barely going to receive 1 or 2 likes, swipes, or messages in a day, or perhaps even a couple of weeks.
Plus, a lot of those women are on there just to get attention. Some of them are already in a relationship and they're just not feeling pretty. So they go on a dating site to get men to contact them and, try to date them. So they get all this attention and they feel better. I literally know this happens. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, but it happens. That's what they do. I cannot believe it, but that's exactly what they do. And they just want the attention. So they're on there. The other thing is, a lot of them, I learned this from the Whatever podcast, a lot of them are on there to advertise their OF, right? So it's just, dating sites are just not a good place to go. The women have all the power there, and men need to stop putting themselves in positions where the women have the power. And they have it on Instagram. They have it anywhere they can use their attractiveness to manipulate you, because that is what they will do. And when you don't allow that to happen and you don't show them that they're drawing you in, you start to keep your power. Stop giving it away and being the servant.
So, men, I believe, have much better chances of interacting with women in the real world than online. Also, if I had $1 for every woman I met online who looked different in real life, I swear I would have enough money to buy a new iPhone. Most women you will come across online will have tweaked and edited images of themselves online, which will make them appear more attractive than they actually will be in real life. This means right from the beginning, you're going to be lied to and deceived by women online. Women can improve their appearance on social media by using makeup and image-enhancing software. They can make their eyes appear bigger and brighter, change the form of their faces, shrink their tummies, and alter the color of their skin. And when they do all these things to improve their digital appearance, it makes sense that their real-life image would be very different, frequently leading to disappointment and a lack of trust. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel.
Absolutely. Do all those things. His channel is fantastic. He puts a ton of work into those videos. Very, very good and very insightful. Very good advice. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of Man Reacts. The link to this video, to the original video, the Man Reacts video, will be in the description. Wow. That really goes hand in hand with tonight's premiere. And that's just a happy accident. I was looking at some of Man Reacts' latest videos, and I had, he's made so many in the last few days. And I thought, okay, well, let's see. And I kind of looked at the titles of them and I thought this one looks really interesting. And sure enough, same kind of a theme. Maybe men, that's encouraging. Maybe men are starting to realize, hey, I'm not going to play those games. Maybe it's another level of, I don't want to say MGTOW, but it's like more men are retreating. And you have to stop engaging with this trickery. You know, you can say, I'm not playing that game. They will come and find you. Trust me. Women want men. You retreat a little bit, they'll try to figure out how to get you to come back. They will. They really will. Women are doing this right now because it's working, because they're getting things from it. They stop getting things from it, they'll stop doing it. I was an equestrian for a long time. I guess I still am in a way. But, you know, managing horses and training horses, it's just basically reward. It's a reward system. I mean, you can abuse them, I suppose, and punish them, but that's clearly not the way to do it. When you're training a horse, you want them to realize that when they do the thing you want them to do, good things happen. And when they do the thing you don't want them to do, it's not as good. And that's how you train them. When women stop getting good results from bad behavior, they'll stop the bad behavior. How are they getting good results? Men are giving, men are doing for them, giving them attention, giving them money, etc. When that stops, the behavior will change. The behavior will change to whatever gives them the good results. It's as simple as that. Bless you. That was little Lola. I hope you heard the cutest sneeze in the world. That's my little dog. When she distracts me, I am reminded to ask you guys to please like the video. Please like, share, subscribe. Let's get the word out to men that they do not have to play these games with women. They're worth more than that. Pull back. Women do come. And if they don't, then it was just going to be a mess anyway. It's not like, well, if I'd have done this and I'd have done that, I would have found it. No, you wouldn't. You'd have just been miserable. So you're either going to find a good one, which is very, very difficult because there aren't that many, or you're going to be alone. But you're not going to find the good one if you keep accepting all this bad behavior and rewarding it. You're just going to create more bad ones. So that's my little spiel. I hope it was helpful or entertaining or both. If anything, Man Reacts always is. So I love you guys. I hope that you're finding peace today. I hope that you are feeding your soul today. And I will see you hopefully tonight at the premiere at 9 o'clock. Thank you so much. Bye.